what we're going to do is just go over a quick inspection that your operators need to do each morning before they run the bucket truck. First thing, very simple, just take a walk around the truck, look for any oil leaks, look at your fasteners on your boom. As you're walking around, you're going to look up. If you see anything that's missing, anything that would be loose, if there's a bolt hole and there's not a bolt in it, make sure you tell your supervisor before you fly the truck, just to make sure that it's not something that's important. Just a simple look around the truck. If you see anything, if you see covers hanging, anything like that, it might not be a big deal, but you know, you run the truck, you should know. But the most important things are your pins and your bushings and any bolts. You want to make sure that nothing is out of place. Operate the truck from the ground controls before you get in the basket. You need to do complete function from the ground controls. So I'm going to show you, we're going to fly it from the lower station. And while you're doing that, you're going to look for anything that might be loose, any oil, any weird noises or clumps. Again, you're just doing a quick inspection. It's not a complete inspecting the boom like we would do once a year, but you're looking for anything that might be loose, out of place, making a funny noise. And again, you run the truck every day, so you know if something's a little weird. But so again, from your lower controls, as you're running the boom, listen for any weird noises, just anything that's out of the ordinary. It's more of a feel thing than it is anything else, but as you're looking, you want to look and make sure that all of these pins are in place, that nothing looks like it's moved. If you see a real shiny spot, tell your supervisor, because it might be something that's moved. If the pin looks like it's not where it's supposed to be, or if you see something that's moved and you see a shiny spot where there's no paint, something may have moved, tell your supervisor.
So in addition to what you're looking for, you're also listening. You're listening
just to make sure that it's smooth, that you don't hear any creaks, bangs, clunks. This should just be a smooth operation. You shouldn't hear any funny noises. You shouldn't hear any creaking or banging. I know you have a couple of different booms. You have the smaller squirt booms, but it's still the same idea. Run it from the lower controls, lift it up, and you want to take a look at the pedestal. Is very important, just to make sure you don't see any bolts. If you see any hardware on the deck and nobody was working on the truck before that, stop immediately. Don't fly that boom until somebody figures out where those bolts came from. Just a quick look. Make sure nothing's out of place, and this is an old truck, so this is a good one to have a look at. If you see anything that might be cracked, then it's hard for an operator to see that, but if you see something where there's a crack, where there's a weld, something, paint. Again, let your supervisor know.
Lou, if they're using the boom and there's a hydraulic leak or a hose breaks, does the boom collapse or does it come down?
No, the boom should not. sorry. The boom should not come down. There's holding valves in the boom. That's what these are. But what this does, you need a certain amount of pressure for these to open before it'll move. So what happens if you lose pressure, they close and they keep the oil in the cylinder so it can't move. Now, if you blow a hose, you can be stuck in the air. That's a possibility. You might have to come with a ladder, or even if they're high enough, come with another bucket truck to get them out, or repair the hose. So that is, but it should never fall to the ground. The only thing that would ever make it fall to the ground is basically your pins that attach the boom to the truck coming out.
So structural integrity is the number one.
Right. Again, it's very uncommon for these to crack and break. If you see crack, I mean, this one's obviously, you'll see on this one. This one's had a couple of welds. There've been a couple of cracks. That would have to get so far for that to break that it would be crazy. But I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because people don't look at, you just get in the bucket every day, get in the bucket. And what happens also, you get so used to the truck and the movements that it has, you don't notice if something's going wrong. I don't know if you've ever gotten in somebody's car and you drive, like, how the hell can you drive this car? And it's like, what do you mean? Because they're so used to it, the changes have happened so much, tiny bit over years, you don't feel it. That's why we need to do an inspection once a year, because we can pick up on that stuff where your operator might not feel the play in the boom, or feel if a bushing's starting to go bad in a pin because it's been doing it over a year or so. This is just to make sure you're safe for the day. You're just taking a look at your major things. If you see anything that looks like it might be out of place, then you tell your foreman.
And these inspections need to be done daily, right?
Yeah, every single morning.
Okay.
The boom, all the booms should be sewn from the lower control. Okay. Sewn over.
Do some of these joints have grease fittings that need to be greased?
Some do, some don't. It depends on the boom manufacturer.
Okay.
This one does have a lot. You'll get some of the newer All-Tex and the newer Versalift almost have no grease fittings.
Okay. And these grease fittings need to be greased, what, once a week?
Once a month.
Once a month?
Yeah.
Got it.
You just want to make sure that everything is nice and smooth and that everything lines up. If for any reason the boom doesn't want to come straight back down, which we'll get that a lot with the All-Tex, where the upper boom, when you lift it up, it'll move sideways out of the cradle and it hits the cradle when it comes in. There's something wrong with the boom. That stuff should always just come, when you're done, come right back to rest in the exact spot it's supposed to be in. If your basket is out of alignment, let your supervisor know, because that would mean that your leveling system is out, or possibly the mounting for the basket is getting loose. Everything should be level.
Perfect.
Other than that, it's just a simple in the morning, buy it from the lower controls, and just take a look at everything. You just want to make sure that everything is operating the way it's supposed to, that it's smooth, that it's not noisy, that it's not leaking. Then you get in the basket. You don't want to jump in the basket and then find out that you have the problem. You want to do it first here. And just because it worked perfect the night before when you closed up doesn't mean that everything's fine in the morning.
Excellent.